Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. Looks like the stream is live on Restream. Got people in chat. Good morning, Jing Kai, John Mars, Namdatan, Hippie Hank, CG, Man Mahindra, of course, in the chat. Chris, Albert, John, Nabil, I Am Right, and Kyle Wright. Thank you very much for coming today, guys. Today is a very crucial day for the year. We got a lot to talk about. So a couple things first and foremost. In the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see that I've got Tesla listed. It's actually up 3.5% on the day. We'll see if it goes higher. I do think that it's likely to get above the 50 moving average. We'll check back on that in a little bit. But as you can see with Bitcoin, I've made some posts about this. It looks really good today. We're above all peak volumes down in the corner here. If you look at the yellow, again, we're just step laddering up. It's exactly what you want to see. Now we're above this volume all the way up here. So we're up each one of these steps in the bottom right corner. But more importantly than that, I don't even know where to start today. I will have to leave by 9 today. The wife has a medical appointment, just some test stuff that you got to do every 10 years. And then I've got another one too, an ultrasound. So I will have a hard stop, but there's so much going on. We've got today is the end of the year, right? It's the end of the calendar year when it comes to the markets. And if you look right here from 1995 to current, this is from my buddy Ryan Detrick. You'll see that if it's positive January, it's a good thing for markets with average return of 16.8%. If it's a negative January, you've got an average of I should say this. Yeah, an average of 1.8%, but it kind of shows, again, the average line throughout the year. Thank you for the €10, Peter. Greatly appreciate you, sir. How was my medical appointment? It basically scheduled out 3 more. But doing all right. Not too bad. But yeah, so again, one of them's today. And then more importantly, my wife has one today, and she'll be knocked out for that. But so that'll be fun. So that'll be happening a little bit later. But again, hard stop at 9. Thank you for the good luck wishes. I appreciate it. So, yeah. So we need today to go well. And I posted a bunch of other subscriber only posts today. We're going to jump to those real quickly. There's so much to talk about. There's Tesla. There's so many things going on in the world right now when it comes to economics. It's just nuts. But again, I just kind of showed you this a second ago, but you can see where all the peak in volume is here, and the fact that we've been able to get above it. And my price targets are still in the 120s. Subscriber only post. Also, this is from James with Invest Answers yesterday, but I posted it for subscribers only. It says, here's the Bitcoin on exchanges as of January 2025. Why is this getting dangerously low? Because we've seen an almost 300,000 drop in BTC on over-the-counter trading desks since July. This is where places like Coinbase get all their coins, right? And if you look right here, Coinbase still has some, but the rest don't have a lot. And Coinbase is doing a lot of the volumes right now. But if you look down here, this is where it gets wild. In July, the BTC on OTC desks that we were looking at, that we were seeing up here, that Bitcoin has dropped by almost 300,000 since July and is now sitting around the 118,000 range. They can pull in more from other people, right? You can ask a big holder of Bitcoin to buy Bitcoin. There's one company that will not buy or will not sell you their fucking Bitcoin, though. It is Michael Saylor, who has bought 256,707 Bitcoin in the above time frame. So we're down 300,000 on OTC desks. He bought 256,707. That kind of lets you know some of the impact that he's having on these draws that he's doing every week, and he's going to do again next week. It says, but as we know, there are more people, pensions, ETFs, companies, nation states, and potentially soon U.S. states and the federal government that will be pulling from this Bitcoin supply. This will create a massive level of demand that's unprecedented in the assets history. Make sure you check out videos and the Patreon from my good friend Invest Answers, who I love, and I put his link in here as well. He's a really good dude. Anybody who thinks he's a scammer is a fucking moron. Just like anybody who thinks I'm a scammer is a fucking moron. Shout out to Garcia Capital. You cuck. Anyway, the next parabolic move for MicroStrategy put us near $850. So what I'm saying here, I said this could happen very quickly if they incorporate FASB accounting rules like Tesla just did, which accounted for 24% of their profits for Q4. So, yeah, again, just real quickly here, look, the story is kind of tells itself, right? 39% drop, 39% drop, massive upside. 34% drop, massive upside. 39% drop, massive upside. 49.53% drop, massive upside. 47% drop, massive upside. And again, when you incorporate FASB accounting rules, I don't know if they'll be achieved this quarter. I don't know if they're forced to do it at the end. My guess would be that they're forced to do it for Q1. I don't know what Michael Saylor's plans are. We'll find out next week. I will be hosting their earnings call. But I don't know if they're going to incorporate the FASB like Tesla just did. I don't know if they're forced to in some way at the end of the year. I don't know. I know that they're voluntary until this year, and so I don't know what I don't know. What I don't know is, does that mean that if you report, even if it's for previous quarters, that right away you have to start reporting for FASB accounting rules, even if they're in previous quarters? I don't know. I don't know if that's why Tesla chose to do it, or if it's just because their profits weren't that good, and they were trying to basically offset some of that by getting these Bitcoin earnings in it. Again, I think it was like 24% of the money was or profits were from that, which is crazy to think of. But I'm very excited about what's going to happen here. Also, another members only video. Ideally, or post. Ideally, the SPX, the S&P 500, closes above peak volumes over the last few quarters, nearing the following level. I put S&P goal is above 60.50. We want to get above this so that we're above peak volumes. You can see where the peak volumes, the red horizontal line right here. You can see how we bounced off of previous resistance going all the way back to early December. That trend line, we bounced off of that very strongly. And now is the time where you want to continue that at the end of the month and go higher. So we'll look for that to happen. I talked about the 10-year bond. Again, members only post. This is evident by bearish divergence that has been created on the RSI and MACD within the monthly time frame. That starts back in October of 2022, over 2.2 years ago. So, and I'm sorry, what I said was the 10-year has topped. And I believe that strongly. If you look over here again, over 2 years ago, you could see this downward bearish divergence. And then you can also see that on the RSI, on the MACD. You can see this rising broadening wedge, which is a bearish pattern. And my prediction is we'll see maybe even all like sub 3%, but we'll see a trade range between 3 and 4.5%. And we won't be going above that anytime soon. And that's good. It provides stability for the markets to be able to go higher. All right, next, lots to go over. Why miners have not used it if they can. Well, miners have been using it. The problem that miners had is they had 7 months of sideways chop where difficulty increased, and because hash rate was increasing a lot, and so they had flat price action. So the amount of Bitcoin they were getting per hash was lower. For 7 months, it was just sideways chop. This will be the first quarter where we get to see a 50% improvement in the price of Bitcoin that will be reflective on their holdings. And so they'll get to benefit from some of that too. So they have been doing it. They just had really shitty circumstances where there was a lot of competition in the mining sector, and that was preventing them from being able to realize higher profits. Now, if I'm right and we get to 125, between 125 and 150 at the end of Q1, that will be even more beneficial for them, because instead of a 50% bump over a period of 1 quarter, they'll see potentially 100% bump or more over 2 quarters, and that will offset the increase in difficulty. I hope that makes sense. My buddy Lance, I said, eventually this will end badly, but the day is not today. And so, again, I look at all sides of the story. I don't know if people just think that I'm super excited and just think everything's going to go up all the time, but there are things that can be negative. If you look, the CBOE, Chicago Board of Exchange, index for the put-call ratio, this is the number of puts versus calls, shows that the ratio is very, very low, historically low. And he said over here, he said essentially nobody trades stocks anymore. They trade all options. That is frighteningly true. If you look here, since 2019, really, you can see the ramp, but it's pretty parabolic now. And so all I'm saying here is that this will be a concern eventually. I don't think it's today. But eventually, I think after a melt-up, and you'll know when the melt-ups happen because everybody will be bullish and I'll be the person who's bearish. That's how you'll know. That's the key indicator, okay? But that will be a dangerous day. But that day is not today, and I don't think that day is anytime soon. The info was missing a lot of big exchanges. Only Coinbase was there. Are you talking about the OTC desks? I mean, there are other OTC desks, but there was a ton of them on there. A ton of them. A lot of the major ones. Stevie, how soon would you sell your CleanSpark calls if that happened? I'll probably sell my calls by 125, 150. I'll be fully out of my calls. Thanks, Jesse, for doing 2 streams yesterday and back at it today. Love your market opens and appreciate you and your work very much. You're welcome, Luke. Paul, 6 setup, saw it on X. Mug of the day. Mug of the day is just a simple Tesla Christmas mug. That is the mug of the day. Paul said, oh, no, that was you. Kane, hey, what I miss? Why is today the most important? I'm scared. It was from what I talked about earlier. So, well, was it up here? No, I'm sorry. Lots of members post today. It was over here. If I can get to it. I post so much shit. You guys are going to have to deal. I post way too many things. Let me just do this. I'll go back to U.S. economy. But essentially, basically, there's a saying that says, so goes January, so goes the year. And it's very true. It's a very accurate statement. And if we look over here, let me just go back. We got more stuff to cover in this anyway. You'll see that a positive January is good for 2024. It shows that 16.8% return on average from 1950 to current, and a negative return of 1.8. So ideally, we end the month in the green, and I think that's going to happen. I got done showing S&P levels and a bunch of other stuff that's indicating that this is going to happen. Do you stake your Solana, and if so, where do you do it? Yes, I do. I have it on Coinbase. There's other exchanges too that probably pay a higher rate. Silas, Jesse making squirrel sounds. Alpha Finder, your YouTuber X post was awesome. Impressed with all the charts. Are both sides. I'm not sure what you mean by both sides, but thank you very much for the compliment. Let me just see what else we got here. So again, I was calling this yesterday, but Meta earnings also, guys, there's no talk of slowing on their CapEx. They're actually looking at huge amounts of capital that they're going to be deploying into the data center area. And it's the same thing with Tesla. There's so much to talk about with Tesla. We'll do that probably in a second here. But Meta's earnings were great. All-time records on the stock. IBM, 15% upside. Earnings across the board, guys, are looking amazing. We talked about yesterday how 79% of them are beating estimates by an average of 7%. That has not changed much at all. I said we're going to get a market melt up inbound. This is what I said 15 hours ago before we got these earnings and before we saw what Tesla was doing and before we got the Fed announcement. I said a market melt up is inbound, and it's okay if it's unpopular because it's actually better that way. And then again, Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell says banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers. I said the world is loosening monetary policy. Our Fed will be doing the same even if rates are not cut today. And this is just showing the Bank of Canada removing their quantitative tightening, which our Fed did not do, and then lowering by 25 bips, which our Fed will end up doing both of these things. So that's some of the U.S. economy stuff. Also, James E. Thorne, somebody who I like quite a bit. Let's see what has he done. Chief market strategist at Wellington Altus. Astute observations and calculations, not investment advice. Please do your own research. He's from Toronto, Canada. I like him. He said, you can't have it both ways. You can't say the Fed is data dependent and Powell is talking down the statement. But then in the next sentence, say March meeting is not live because they're waiting to see what Trump does with tariffs. So again, he was kind of biased yesterday, and I didn't love it. He talked to tariffs again, and again, he's saying it here. That's clear political bias. He ignored massive revisions to BLS birth-death model. He also didn't comment about the effectiveness of Doge and the effectiveness of decreasing spending within the federal government, or the incentives and benefits that come along with lower taxation, pulling in, billion-dollar plus companies, all the stuff that Trump has already talked about. So there is bias here, and I don't know if we just end up getting rid of Powell, if there's a legal way for us to be able to do that. I've heard that there is, and I've heard that there isn't, and I'm not really sure what the reality of it is yet. I haven't cast judgment. But let's look at this BLS employment data that he was talking about. He said from March 2024 to June 2024, Gross job losses from closing and contracting private sector establishments were 7.8 million, an increase of 639,000 jobs from the previous quarter. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over this period, gross job gains from expanding private sector establishments were 7.6, a decrease of 17,000 jobs from the previous quarter. The difference between the number of gross job gains and the number of gross job losses yielded a net employment decline of 163,000 jobs in private sector during the second quarter of 2024. And I would expect additional negative data points within the economic data, especially when it comes to employment in the days ahead. But as I've already discussed several times already, I believe there's a ton of positive factors. I went over this kind of in a pretty big rant yesterday at the end of Jerome Powell's speech, which I found very lackluster and pretty boring with content. Some good questions were asked, but he was very deflective, and I didn't really like it. But I did point out all the positive things that are happening in the U.S. economy. You should maybe check the end of that video if you're interested in hearing more of that. We're going to quickly jump over to Tesla because there's just so much to talk about here. It's crazy. So let me check comments real quick. Chetan says, Mucho Shekels says, I stake with Helios and Cogent. Okay. Chetan says, Jesse, where can I see your leap calls? Probably right here. Probably right here on my account. If there's any that you guys are ever interested in, you can ask me to pull them up. So you can see my ARKG right here. This is my balance. Oh, hey, and this is for what is his name? Garcia Capital. Are we sure that guy's even legal? Is he legal to be in this country? Somebody should check. But yeah, he calls me a scammer, but I show you my shit every day. And yeah, here's my ARKG calls. Here's my CleanSpark calls. And so I'm just going to go through them quick. You can always go back in the video. Here's DLO. Not doing so good in that one. But I think that might actually come around. Here's my Hood. Here's my PayPal. And here's my Tesla. Okay? You got them all. There you go. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Thoughts on Trump grilling Powell for not cutting? He should be. Powell's turning into a douchebag. He's showing his political lens. Tommy Stoic, Grayscale launches Bitcoin miner ETF. I know, I saw that. That's cool. MNRS. Tommy Stoic, will this be a game changer at all, in your opinion, for miners? I mean, it'll help. Midwest Cannabis, Sweet Tesla, Paul Stewart, for a Tesla right today to buy the leaps. Yesterday was the day to buy the leaps. Today it's up 4%. So, I mean, the leaps will probably be up 8%, at least for the ones that I'm queued in. The 330 June 2026s, that'll probably be up 8% today. I generally don't like buying leaps like that, but you do you. Tyler says, how soon do you think companies start buying Bitcoin? I mean, they are all around the world. Alex Garcia, Paul, yesterday would have been better. Yes. Sean, Kathy Wood was talking about genomics yesterday on Axe Space as one of her biggest bull calls for 2025. Rightfully so. Again, ARKG is sitting at, let's just check here. ARKG is sitting at 1.2 billion in AUM, getting ready for a massive breakout of a trend that started over 1,000 days ago. Not just the drop. The drop was precipitous, right? The high was 1,470 days ago, almost 1,500 now. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this downward trend line. If you dial it out here to where we are today, that we're pushing up against resistance levels on, is actually, let's go here, all the way 1,100 days ago, and we're going to break out. So you best believe that we're at least jumping 30%, and I think I can get anywhere from 7 to 10x on that. If it's 7 and we go up 30, you do the math. It's a pretty good return. I have almost $400,000 in ARKG. Well, maybe less. I do have 2 accounts. How much does it say up here? I don't want to be quoting the wrong thing. People will think I'm a grifter. 340,000 in here. So probably about 375, 380 between both accounts. So a little less than 400. I don't want to grift too much today. All right. Now, when it comes to Tesla, let's get to that real quick. It's just crazy today. FYI, Flux released their 10K last night, and they have not released anything in a while due to the faulty accounting previously, in case you wanted to check it out. I don't care much. I'm just going to write that one off as a loss if it goes up, great. Stevie G, so much from the Tesla call. Adam Jonas gets moron Luddite analyst of the call award with a question on LiDAR. Oh, that was so fucking stupid. And Elon mocked him pretty hard. So Sawyer Merritt says, let's just get into Tesla. Sawyer Merritt says the training compute needs for Optimus are 10x higher than what the car needs. And we know they're buying compute in mass just for the car, just for Grok. So what are they going to do with Optimus? I think NVIDIA is safe, guys. I think NVIDIA is safe. Teslarati. Breaking, Tesla confirms it will use steer-by-wire, adaptive air suspension, and real wheel steering in the future, in future vehicles. That is my biggest complaint about the Y. I'm buying the launch edition. I think we're going to get it in early March, so in 5 weeks maybe. But the biggest complaint I have, it's an amazing car. I can't wait to get it for the wife. But I wish it had steer-by-wire and air suspension. It's like the two things that are really missing that I wish it had. Tesla CEO Elon Musk, we expect... Oh, that's the same thing. Oh, no. What is it, though? Is it? No, that was compute. So he expects that Optimus will scale, not a doubling per year, but 500% per year, which is pretty huge. Stephen Kong said, did you hear about MSTX dividend again? I got notification on IBKR. No, I didn't. Are they doing another one? Interesting. Okay, I'll take it. I think I have my settings to reinvest. All right, let's keep going. Let me see if there's anything else interesting here. Jesse, what do you think about Intel before earnings? I don't think about Intel. Justin capitulated on Flux. Maybe that's the right choice. Tyler, you followed Rex on Flux. Lesson learned. Still understand the MSTR. Yeah, but I mean, everybody makes bad calls. Tyler, no, that was you. Silas, Alex has a dark side. Midwest cannabis, sweet, NVIDIA safe. Thanks for encouragement. I think it's good, man. Justin, seriously. Oh, yeah, Manny247. Good afternoon, crew. Never understand why people are gifted with memberships who would dare to troll you. Listen and learn. Use your time wisely. Jesse Bro has zero tolerance. I don't have time for assholes. Oliver, thank you for joining as a member. Stevie G, still battery constrained, split between mobile and energy. Bullish on lithium? No, I'm not remotely bullish on lithium. Not at all. Every other, you got the death of like 400 EV companies coming. I'm not bullish on lithium whatsoever. Hippie Hank, how's the road sound in the Cyber? It's non-existent. The Cybertruck is the most glorious vehicle I've ever owned. Outside of getting called a Nazi and having people salute me with a Nazi salute, it's amazing. I love it. And you get used to people like that. I just wave at them. I even saluted them back, and that seemed to creep them out. I'm not a Nazi, by the way. But if you're going to fucking salute me like a Nazi, I'll give it back to you. And then the people are like, oh my God, I can imagine what they were thinking. They're like, oh my God, get it on video. Get it on video. Guy in a Cybertruck doing a Nazi salute. It's like, yeah, you gave it to me 3 times, motherfucker, while I'm trying to go to supper with my wife. So you're getting it back. Anyway, fucking idiots. There's so many fucking idiots on this earth. So yeah, Optimus is going to scale at 10x, not double. I think that's important. And my buddy Galley, one of the real OGs here. Yeah, the Midwest. I don't remember if he had purple hair, probably. There's actually another video that I just posted a little bit ago that where one of the Cyber Greg or something, one of these guys had a guy who was obviously gay or trans something, who rolled down his window just to wave at him and tell him he was a Nazi. I was like, oh, that's so perfect, thank you. Just like that just rings bells because I got that literally 2 days ago, except with the Nazi salute. But people are idiots. What do you do? There's Garcias all over the place, guys. You just have to deal with it and move on. But here, Galley is this OG in the crypto space in 2017. Oh, I'm not subscribed to Galley. We're doing that later. I love this man. He's great. In 2017, he was coming on CNBC. Man didn't even fucking shave yet. I'm not even sure if he can shave now. I'm kidding. He can. But he is an OG, and I love him. And he had some comments last night about the earnings call, and I think they were really great, and I would definitely go to his site to look at them. So key highlights: Robotaxi launch in Austin, June 2025. California and other states launch robotaxi in late 2025. Cybercab in 2026. Optimus version 1 in 2025 at 1,000 per month production line. Optimus version 2 in 2026, 10,000 month production line. 2026, good year for Tesla. 2027 to 2028, insanely good. That's what Elon said. Insanely good. ECB cuts 25 points. Is that a question or is that a statement? Data in 5 minutes. We'll take a look at it. But Galley goes through, he gives you the timestamp on the intro, opening remarks, retail questions, analyst questions, Galley's thoughts, and just goes through this in detail. I would highly encourage you to check it out. It's very good notes. And again, there's so much going on, guys. We'll just roll through some of the highlights here. 1, this dipshit is going to have to shave his head. I love it. Let's see here. Son of the Walkie said Elon might sue CNN for defamation. His mother asked him to, so I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. She went on a panel and they treated her like shit, so she's like, sue him, Elon. So you know that's gonna go. Let's see here. Elon Musk, most important year in the history. Unsupervised paid robotaxi service will be launching in June. Tesla will launch their own fleet in Austin at first. We already see their vehicles moving around now. Again, I can't emphasize how bullish Elon Musk was, which is probably why the stock, because normally he'll be like, he'll give you optimistic, this is what I think we can do, goals. But this time he's like, guys, it's happening. In months, it's happening. So I know you've been hearing me for years saying that it's happening, but in months it's happening. And so get ready for it, which is why it's up 420. 420 right now, guys. If you're looking in the bottom corner, we are up 420. How perfect is that for Tesla? Benedict says, Jesse, you could provide an opinion on AMD, ESP going into earnings next week. Luca is very bullish. I think it's probably pretty good. Yeah. Sealess, the leftists who do these salutes are authoritarian in thought. Yeah, I know, right? They don't realize they're the Nazis. That's the part that I just really, really get a kick out of. Marquis, hey, what's up, buddy? I'm sorry to hear that one of the scammer on X has more followers than you who's impersonating you. That sucks. MicroStrategy issued preferred stock ATM to buy BTC. Once the preferred stock trades on a premium, then they run the ATM on the preferred itself to fund the dividend. So ATM on ATM. Hey, man, I'm always for ATM on ATM action, right? It's the best. I think Michael Saylor is brilliant. And even my buddy Felix, who lives in Hong Kong, who was shit on Bitcoin in the past, even he said that he thought Michael Saylor was a scammer and MicroStrategy was a scam. And then he listened to him for an hour talk about his, bonds and derivatives. And he's like, wow, this guy's real. And Felix actually worked in the banking industry, in the investment sector for a long time. So he knows a little bit about what he's talking about. Archie's up 1.6% in pre-market. Cool. Stevie G. Oh, hey, we should check out the economic data. Shouldn't we? Is it coming? Let's refresh. We got a couple minutes, it looks like. China won't let them export to the Chinese video data over to the U.S. for training, and the U.S. won't let them do the training in China. Elon described the innovative solution to using this public webcam data. Yeah, that's just another thing, right? If there's anybody that's coming up with innovation, it's going to be him. Pete, can you give me some hopium on my chart, my MSTX? Sincerely, a day one YouTube subscriber. Yeah, it's good. MicroStrategy, I just showed a little bit. There's so many positive things. I just showed a chart earlier, what happens after 40%, 49%, 43%, and 47% declines. We make shit tons of money. And MSTX is a multiplier to that. And we know that from this move right here that occurred from September to November, and MicroStrategy where it went up 370%. Now, I'm not saying that's happening now. I'm shooting for about 150, about 40% of that, right? That move right there could probably send up MSTX 400%. Is that enough? Did I settle a beef with Rex? I don't have a beef with Rex. I just blocked him. I don't have a beef with him. I blocked him because I don't want to hear him talk about MicroStrategy and say that it's a Ponzi scheme. Absolutely no beef. I actually really like the guy. I think he's very thoughtful in a number of ways. And after he shuts the fuck up about MicroStrategy, I'll unblock him and maybe we'll talk again. Paw Mark, Navy banned DeepSeek, the entire U.S. military. Yeah, nobody in government should be using DeepSeek. If you use DeepSeek, you're kind of a moron. They've already had security breaches. You're a fucking. It's monitoring keystrokes. I mean, at least that's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true. I haven't looked at the open source code myself, and I probably never will, because it's a fucking Chinese CCP controlled company. Jesus Christ. Megatron, the dilution on MSTX is hurting. It's not really dilution, right? It's dilution on MicroStrategy. MSTX is just a multiplier. It tries to be 2x, but it doesn't always track that well. Rex led us to slaughter with Flux. Yeah, well, I mean, I did that with DLO, so I won't be too hard on him. Can you speak on Iron Energy? I'm getting more bullish. I like Iron. I think it's a good HPC play. Oh, we did get a read, guys. Let's see real quick here. Let me hop over. Yeah, sorry about the people that died in that plane crash. That's sad. It doesn't sound like anything like too malicious. Wow, we have a lot of economic data actually rolling out right now. Let's go to Rick Santelli real quick and just see what he has to say while we wait for some of this stuff to populate on my end.
I know you've got the numbers in about 15 seconds.
Yeah, about 15 seconds. You know what's noteworthy here is today's a big day.
Yeah, you know what's funny, Marquis? He said, I tried to explain to Rex about MicroStrategy, but he won't listen or respond. Jeff, are you talking about Jeff from like the Far North or whatever group that's buddies with Ben? I mean, he's brilliant. He tried to respond to and Rex won't listen, which is ironic because before I blocked Rex, the last thing he said is, it's stupid that I don't listen to the bear case, and yet he won't listen to these guys on why he's wrong. Whatever. I guess we're both fucking stupid.
After the Fed meeting where we did nothing in terms...
The difference is I'm right. Dario, we started listening to Rex because of you, but you insulted us over CleanSpark. I first learned about you from you. Now I find him very immature and overly attached to CleanSpark. Yeah, I don't understand why he's shitting on other investments, and he turned bearish recently. And so since he turned bearish recently, that's his view, I guess. So he is young. That's true. I don't like saying that because it's like, again, there's people that could be young and wise, but he is less experienced than my old ass. And my right testicle that hangs lower than my left is definitely a testament to the number of years that I've been around the sun. Does your gut tell you most of your gains will come in the first half? I don't know. I don't know. Let's listen to this real quick. I'll think about that answer.
We had a cause, ECB lowered. We're flirting with 4.5 and a 10 and 4 3/4 on a 30, and the data is hitting the wires. Let's start out with initial jobless claims, shall we? 207,000, well below the mark of 225,000 that we were looking at.
Interesting. So this will be interesting. So let's go back here. I want to look at the actual data. Continuing jobless. So initial jobless claims are low. This is bullish. And this leads to the Fed being okay with not lowering rates in March. Continuing jobless claims came a little bit lower than consensus and forecast. This is good too, right? And I've said this, guys. I think jobless claims and unemployment are not going to get out of control because we're getting rid. Testicle analysis. Yeah, I did a post yesterday. Nobody liked it, but I just want to be clear. If you follow Garcia Capital, you're just going to get a crybaby bitch. If you follow me, you're going to get milking Elon Musk and talk about my testicles. I think there's a clear difference there, and you guys know who to watch. I don't know if that's beneficial at all. Core PCE prices quarter over quarter, 2.5%. That's pretty much in line. Okay. GDP sales quarter over quarter, 3.2% actual. The forecast was 2.9, so that's actually better than expected and just a hair lower than Q4. Jobless claims 4-week average. So this is important because we want to see if people are getting back in the workforce. Yeah, I know, right? Conversation's amazing today, guys. High quality. 212,500 for actual, and the forecast was 214, so that's a little bit lower too. PCE prices quarter over quarter, 2.3%. This is hot. So this will lead to the Fed being able to say that prices are coming in hot. Now, don't get me wrong. GDP sales were slightly higher, but this was 2.3%. Now, again, that's not a crazy number. That's not a crazy price increase, but it's also up. And so if we jump out here, that doesn't look like anything, right? Look at all of I mean, I think we're in like the 95, 96 range. That's where I think we are right now. And if you look over here, you can see how this range that we're in isn't much different than that. And then it actually rolled over in 97 and went lower. Anyway, so that's where I feel we are. Hey, Jesse, what do you feel about Peru? I like Peru. Sometimes I think he's off. Other times I think he's great. I mean, that's like everybody, though, right? Purdy, I mean, I'm probably the same way for people. Purdy Financial, I only heard and followed him recently from seeing him on TJ The Wheel Deals video. Who's him? Me or somebody else's? Is that Rex or somebody? Or is that, I don't know. I like TJ. He's cool. Real consumer spending quarter over quarter 4.2%, and that is higher than 2.9. So that's good. Oh, Garcia. Yeah, Garcia's a fucking idiot. He is a cunt. He's a cunt. You know why? Because this guy can't get off my nuts, and my nuts have enough problems. But he seems to think I'm a scammer, and I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. I'm a scammer, grifter, something. Like literally. So to be clear, guys, and I could probably just show you these numbers. Maybe I'll just do it in a post. I made like maybe $140,000, $150,000 this last year from socials. Every year before that was zero. Every year before that, I made absolutely fucking nothing. You know what? Real quickly, I just want to squash this so that I don't have to talk about it ever again. Let's go to Garcia Capital. Where is this piece of shit? Garcia, do you guys know what his handle is? Garcia Capital. Let me see. This guy who like got one thing right. What did he get right? Oh, he invested in Palantir. I think that's the only thing he's actually done. Let's see here real quick. I love that I can look at stuff like this now. Let's see. Am I on here? Am I your videos? Right here. Okay, great. So I have this chart pinned on my profile, right? Oh, impressive growth, blah, blah, blah. But he only uses lows. Yeah, I only used lows because that's all I had. That's all I tracked. That's all I gave a fuck about. Okay? And that's all I gave a fuck about. And so if I didn't have data points for previous timeframes, I can't give those to you. That's how data works, just to be clear. But here's the thing. I have plenty of people, some of them might even be in this chat, that have been around for 2023, 2024, and now in 2025. And they saw the increases. They saw the Amit saw the fucking increases. Future Invest, Tanner saw the fucking increases in my portfolio. All these big YouTubers, Felix, Rex, all these guys, all these YouTubers that have invited me on their channels and that I've participated with, they did that because they saw how much fucking money I was making. Okay? So there we go. And yes, I did put on here that I apologized to people for 2024 because my goals were 100 to 200%, and I only got 53% in my portfolio because I made mistakes in PayPal and a few other things, okay? This is me being fucking honest. It's not me being a fucking grifter. And again, before 2024, I didn't make dick. I had no fucking income at all when I retired in 2019, or I should say 2020, early 2020, at the start of a fucking pandemic. I had $370,000 roughly in my fucking name, and I retired, and I turned it into what it is today. And I did that while a year later retiring my wife and my fucking in-laws and parents. And then helping out other people all the fucking time. I help out everybody all the fucking time. All the time. So yeah, bitch, fuck you. Get off my nuts. All right, back to work. Sorry about that. Oh, hey, and I did fix something real quick. I should probably talk to this. So one of you was nice enough to let me know that my chart over here is wrong. It was doing a waterfall effect where it goes higher. So it is a misrepresentation. And because you let me know that, I fixed it. So I put it down in the comments over here, and it'll be on the next one, corrected. I'm also going to update this. So I put fixed a bug in my performance chart. Amazed I didn't catch it myself. But the waterfall is gone. And so this is an accurate representation where you can see where it was skewed before. I still need to get this where it shows red, but this has been fixed. I'm also going to put the low of 2025, the high of 2025, and then current. So you can see if I've dropped down from where I was at. So I hope Garcia Capital likes the improvements to my chart. All right, back to work. So I think the economic data isn't too bad today. Let's take a look here. Yeah, thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. So let's take a look here real quick. So we got 46. Oh, probably shouldn't do it. Let's get rid of that. We got 46 on the fear and greed. So just a hair kind of in neutral right now. In retrospect, Caleb Bronzing call last spring to flow out of miners and into it. Yeah, he was right. He was totally right. Yep. I don't know what his allocation is because I don't even know how much that he puts out there. But you're right. He was very smart. He was calling, and I was shitting on him, Pete. I can't say shitting on him. I've always liked the guy, but I was disagreeing with him about his statements and saying that miners were going to do just fine. And he said that it was better to be an MSTR, and he was 100% right. I didn't understand what MSTR was doing. So yeah, I mean, I owed him an apology, and I gave it to him too in a few different posts. Sweet Bid McGee, Super Chat 199, trying to subscribe, can't figure it out. Oh, if you're on iOS, do it from a desktop. When you're in front of a computer, pull up YouTube, do it there. I get more of the revenue, and since I'm a grifter, I need as much as I can get, right? You're going to save me 33% that would be going to Apple. And then B, it's just easier to do. So there you go. Steven Toro, what do you think about Grab amid his bullish? I don't really know enough about Grab. I hear mixed results about it, and I don't know it well enough, and I've already got so many things going on. I haven't really spent any time on it, so I'm probably just going to pass. John Kirby, slept in. First thing I hear is Jesse on a vulgar rant. Vulgar? No. The market must be up. Gotta love Jesse. Love this channel. Thanks, man. Stubble. Jesse, high blood pressure is not. Actually, my blood pressure is getting way better. All the exercise and eating better has made huge improvements. But thank you for asking. I do have high cholesterol, though. So I definitely need to continue going to the gym and eating healthy. That should help a bunch. Matthew Purdy. Jesse, check out 3LTS. It's a 3X Tesla long. Ugh, that's a lot of X. That's a lot of X. 33% to Apple is wild. 33%. Who's talking about Apple? 33%. So yeah, it looks like Tesla's still at 4%. Bitcoin up about 105,000. Again, guys, if you missed this earlier, we really want to see the markets do well today. We want to see S&P get above 6,050. Sweet Bid McGee, thank you for joining. We want to see the S&P get above 6,050. We want to see Bitcoin maintaining some of the strength sitting at these volume levels. We want to see Tesla doing good. We want to see everything doing well. And so far, we're kind of getting that. Meta did great on earnings. IBM, a bunch of companies. We're at a ratio of like 4-to-1 versus good to bad. That's beautiful. You want that in earnings. Martin Pilda, Jesse, never start taking statins for your cholesterol levels. I'm trying not to take any medications. I'm trying to do it the right way. I'm trying to eat the right foods and work out a lot and get my cholesterol levels down. And I'm trying to meditate and stuff to keep blood pressure down, because that is a concern. This is already very stressful. Anybody who saw the screens I'm sitting in front of, when you've got like 150 fucking tabs up all the time and you're trying to absorb the information of the world, it's not easy. When you're driving around in your Cybertruck and people are giving you Nazi salutes, it's not easy. When you got people like Garcia Capital talking shit all the time, it's not easy. So you do have to work towards those things to just maintain your own sanity, let alone, your blood pressure levels. Vish says, hey, Jesse, does cybersecurity sector excite you? CrowdStrike? Not really. I'm not really focused on it. I mean, there's going to be a lot of need for it, but I'm not an expert on it right now. Cholesterol isn't a problem if or a mod. Sometimes high cholesterol is good. Yeah, it's not the good kind, though. There's like good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. It's not the good kind. And again, I've been eating like shit for my entire life. So it's one of those things where I'm having to make changes to improve that. And it's helping a lot with my energy level. It's getting me pretty intense in some of these videos, I'll tell you that. Desktop subscriber here. Alan Watts is great for meditation. Oh, yeah, totally. MKC 1979. I've been following for a few years. Became 100% debt free and financially independent following you. Never about leaps or minors until I started following. That's awesome, man. I'm glad it's worked out, dude. Sean, investing is stressful. Yes. Sebastian, meditate, repeating the mantra word Garcia. Yeah, that's not going to help my meditation. Thank you, though. Yeah, let's keep going. We got a lot to go through, and I'm not being effective with my time, and I've only got till 9. Yeah, I'm not gonna take medications. I try to avoid that as much as possible. If I do everything I'm supposed to do, if I do the right things, and then I still can't affect it, and I've researched every possible avenue, then I'll do it. But man, I'm frankly trying to stay away from all that shit. Let's see here. Trump. Let's go to Trump. That'll be fun. Let's inject politics into this. That'll help. Libs of TikTok says a 63-year-old man was found dead and tied up with duct tape. Ooh, this is going to get good. And a cord in his basement in Chicago. Police are now reportedly searching for 2 illegal immigrants who will face charges for murder. Yay. Thanks, Biden, for making the world a better place. Ali Layla TV, thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Jesse, gotta try Wim Hof breathing while meditating. I think I do, but I'll just confirm that it's the same thing. Breathing is something my friend Tony, my Asian brother from another mother, my friend Tony, he hooked me up with really understanding how impactful breathing is in your life, which is probably what ended up helping me with my sleep apnea. Is I got this mouth guard that prevents my tongue from rolling back into my throat, and even just tilting your neck back makes it to where you can breathe more effectively through your nose and mouth when you're sleeping. So and then just again deep breathing exercises, pauses, all that stuff. It has been so impactful on heart rate, blood pressure. I can't say enough good things about it. Trump, Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, says, yes, it's already been proven to work. So Trump said Donald Trump is about to go Bukele mode to keep America safe. Let's create the American version of CCOT. It's already proven to work, right, Nayib? And if you look here, world statistics, homicides per 100,000 inhabitants in El Salvador. They had one of the highest rates on earth in 2015 at 106 murders for every 100,000 people. So that's 10.6 murders for every 10,000, or 1.6 for every 1,000, which is a crazy number if you think about it. Right now, their murder rate is 1.9 out of 100,000 people. That's pretty awesome. We've got more confirmation hearing stuff today. If Kennedy doesn't get confirmed, it's just pure political bias and showmanship. This asshole right here said, I've only got 5 minutes, so you're going to listen to me, Robert Kennedy. So this guy is literally applying for a position where they're supposed to be asking questions to get answers to determine whether or not he's fit for the position, and they won't even let him talk. We've got Pete Hegseth dropping truth bombs on Fox News. Let's listen. This is a good one.
What's happening with DEI? How's that going at the Defense Department?
Well, DEI is not going well at the Defense Department because it's dead. We will, as the president said in his inaugural, we will be merit-based and colorblind, and that is the case at the Defense Department. DEI is going to be ripped out root and branch because we want everyone treated equally with high standards and held accountable with warfighting, lethality, and readiness front and center. We don't have time for emphasizing differences. Jesse, one of the dumbest phrases in military history is our diversity is our strength. Our diversity is not our strength. Our unity and our shared purpose is our strength. And the Pentagon is excited to get back to that core mission. It's happening rapidly. The services are responding, and those that don't want to respond can work somewhere else. So,
our unity and shared purpose is our strength. Fuck yeah. What he just said. Geiger Capital. I've never seen a poll like this. So Quinnipiac did a university poll of the Democratic Party. And it was a pretty large one, and they got 31% favorable, 57% unfavorable, a 26% drop. It's horrific. The Democratic Party is not in favor right now. David Medina said during his Senate confirmation hearing today, RFK Jr. was attacked by Oregon Senator Ron Wyden, who accused RFK of only pursuing money and fame. Ron Wyden has accepted over $1.5 million from Big Pharma. He's a part of this list that we're going to show here in a second. Right here, a Midwestern doctor said the hostility towards Robert F. Kennedy experienced at his hearing was directly proportional to how much pharma money each senator received. In fact, each of them simply repeated the same attacks we just saw flood the mass media, all of which were blatant lies. Bernie Sanders, guys, this is the guy you're supposed to think is like anti-government, socialist, supposed to be like do all the right things for the little guy. $2 million. Raphael Warnock, 1.76. Bitch Warren, 1.22. Ron Wyden, 1.2. Michael Bennett, 730. Look at all these assholes, like the ones that were the most outspoken and screaming. Bernie was holding baby onesies. Just crazy shit. And they're getting paid. Okay. This is fun too. And this might actually, somebody said this was a private school.
Before the Friday after.
If that's cool, great. If it's a public school, these people need to lose their funding. Essentially, and I won't play the 2 minutes and 27 seconds, this teacher shows off a social justice day in her school. Students spend an entire day learning about banned books, climate change, LGBTQ rights, resistance, and protesting. So, again, just creating militants, not teaching them how to be good people and how to be constructive members of society, just creating militants that are for the left, and really not even the left anymore. It's just like the woke assholes, which make up like 25-30% of it. I thought this was ironic. So on a day when Meta is crushing it, Trump wins a lawsuit against Meta for $25 million over his account suspension. That's just funny. We've got Autism Capital says, shots fired, bang, bang. X is the best show on earth. I regret helping you. So Nicole Shanahan said because again, she was a Democrat. She's a billionaire. She said to Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock, man, do I regret ever helping you. The only reason you're in the seat is because I sent massive financial support to Shirley Sherrod's C4 to mobilize rural Georgia during the 2020 runoff. I'll be correcting that massive mistake. You're awful. This woman is going to be spending a fortune going after these fucks. And not just her. What's his name? Preston. I don't want to say the gay guy. The guy with the long hair that went to Pennsylvania and helped. I think is it Preston? I feel like I'm getting it wrong. Anyway, he's fucking great. He said that he is going to put everything he has into going after senators that oppose Robert F. Kennedy's confirmation. Scott Pressler, thank you. He's amazing. So we've got all these former liberal Democrats ready to crush the establishment, and I'm for it. I'm here for it. Alexander Murs, Tesla boomer mama, who we all love, and if you don't love her, buck off. She said that's going to down nicely with the woke. Is going to go down nicely with the woke crowd. Mark Zuckerberg starts Meta earnings call praising Donald Trump, the man he just gave a $25 million settlement to. I love it. There's so much irony in life. This is great. Listen to CNN try and push this anti-vaccination crap about RFK. Again, RFK's book started with I'm not anti-vax, and it ended with I'm not anti-vax. But he makes some really salient points here that I want you to hear.
One other person who was on stage recently and was talking about coming into the administration is RFK Jr. He said that Trump has promised him control of the public health agencies, HHS, which would be also, CDC, FDA, USDA, all of these agencies. Is that true? Has Trump promised him basically the HHS job?
So I spent 2.5 hours this week with Bobby Kennedy Jr. and
this is Lutnick. He is brilliant. He lost 2/3 of his company in September 11th, so he doesn't have a lot of love for terrorism. And he's a good guy. Originally, I thought he should be the Treasury Secretary, but after I met Scott Bennett, I didn't meet him, but after I got to know this guy, he's obviously the one. But he's great. He's a huge advocate for the Trump administration.
And it was the most extraordinary thing because let's face it, we've all heard on the news all sorts of sort of snarky comments about him. And I said, so tell me, how's it going to go? And he said, why don't you just listen to me explain things? And what he explained was when he was born, we had 3 vaccines. And autism was 1 in 10,000. Now,
3 vaccines, autism 1 in 10,000.
Now a baby's born with 76 vaccines.
76 vaccines.
Because in 1986, they waived product liability for vaccines. And here's the best one. They started paying the people at the NIH, right? They pay them a piece of the money for the vaccine companies. Wait a minute.
Now, she's going to try and interrupt him, and I paused at the wrong time. So what he said was, we went from that really low rate of autism to 76 vaccines, so from 3 to 76, and 1 in 34 people with autism. There's tons of people that have autism now, and it's very noticeable, and it's way different than when I was a kid. If you're old enough, you know this to be true, right? And she's going to try and argue to the fact that, oh, no, that's all a lie. But he just crushes her.
Let me finish. And so all of these vaccines came out without product liability. So what happened now? Autism is one.
So again, in the 80s, they removed the liability from it so that these guys can just say whatever they want to say. They don't have to worry about getting sued. And these drones and the fucking media say, oh, but it's proven. It's proven. There were scientific studies, yeah, that were sponsored by the fucking companies giving the vaccines. What more do you need to know? Why aren't we questioning this data? Anyway, I'll let him talk.
1 in 34.
Okay,
Amazing.
neither of us are doctors. Vaccines are safe. RFK, I mean,
Why do you think vaccines are safe?
RFK,
There's no product liability anymore. They're not proven.
Kids get them and they're fine.
Why do you think they're fine?
But because they're proven scientifically to be.
How about this? There was 1 in 10,000
They
people with
rigorous amounts of
autism.
testing.
We all know so many more people with autism than had it when we were young. Oh, come on.
He's 100% right.
Okay,
I mean, his point is really interesting.
But
So here's what he
vaccines
said.
don't cause autism, which is what RFK pushes, which is why people are concerned that he could get a job like HHS. And I don't even think he could get...
He's not getting a job for HHS. What he's trying to do, here's what he wants to do. He said, I want data. I just want data because they blocked the data.
But the data's out there.
Wait, it's not.
RFK needs to
just
wait.
wait.
Look at it. It's
he
online.
wants the data so he can say these things are unsafe. He says, if you give me the data, all I want is the data, and I'll take on the data and show that it's not safe. And then if you pull the product liability, the companies will yank these vaccines right off of the market. So that's...
So to be clear, this bitch right here couldn't say this stuff today. Her company is dying. This says election night in 6 days. If you look at it, this is old. So she would be way backed off today. They're still trying with some of this stuff on CNN, but they've received a directive of like, shut the fuck up and try and be less biased because they're dying and they're going to die. And if Elon Musk really does sue them because they offended his mother, they are done. Benny Johnson, real quick here. Today, I officially registered for a White House press credential. Our show beats the corporate media every day in viewers. Thank you to the White House for recognizing the power of independent news. So companies like CNN might not even be in the White House to ask questions anymore because they're going to get replaced. They're going to get replaced. And I think it's a brilliant move. Just let them die. Make it to where they don't even get in the room anymore. If you're going to be biased, you just don't get a seat at the table. And I think that's brilliant. And I think that's going to happen. To be fair, RFK never said he would not take money from the lawsuits against Big Pharma on the future. I don't give a fuck about pharma. He can sue their ass, but both sides have money interest. Yeah, I completely disagree with that. I don't think you've spent enough time understanding who RFK is. I'm sorry, you just haven't. George, breaking. Charlie Kirk just sent a chilling warning to any Republican senators who dare to vote against Robert F. Kennedy. Confirm Bobby Kennedy or face well-funded primary challenges. Choose wisely. Everybody's going to go after him. So if you're one of these assholes who's getting paid by these guys, it will be your last fucking paycheck. Confirm RFK. Tillis, are you a conspiracy theorist? This is a good one. Let's just listen to this.
Are you a conspiracy theorist? That is a pejorative, Senator, that's applied to me, mainly to keep me from asking difficult questions of powerful interests.
Cool.
I was told that I was a conspiracy theorist. That label was applied to me because I said that the vaccines, the COVID vaccine, didn't prevent transmission and it wouldn't prevent infection, when the government was telling people, Americans, that it would. I was saying that because I was looking at the monkey studies in May of 2020. I was called a conspiracy. Now everybody admits it. I was called a conspiracy theorist because...
So yeah, he was a conspiracy theorist who just happened to be right.
So I said red dye caused cancer. And now FDA has acknowledged that and banned it.
So again, a conspiracy theorist who was right.
I was called a conspiracy theorist because I said fluoride lowered IQ. Last week, JAMA published a meta-review of 8.
They put this shit in our fucking water. Did you know that? You ever look at your water? They do like health study things and they show you what they put in it. They put fluoride in your fucking water. If you're drinking water out of a faucet, your IQ is getting lower, and you're doing this to your fucking kids. And again, he's a conspiracy theorist with this. Oh, but he's right.
87 studies saying that there's a direct inverse correlation between IQ loss.
All right, so I'm going to assume
I could go on for about a week.
Is there any one of them that you can say, you got me, that really was a conspiracy theory, or are you in a position to submit for the record? I think it'd just be helpful.
Not yet. And again, there's so many people. Bill Ackman said you're slandering Robert F. Kennedy to Senator Schumer. And he said, I'm disappointed in you. I've been a big supporter of yours for years. He's donated money to them. He's like, fuck you, I'm done. The Democrats have left. They're gone. It's just radicals left in the party right now. They're fucked. And I love this. Hit send. This is so great, guys. Back to more like fiscal related stuff. President Trump to federal employees, type the word resign into the subject line of the email and hit send if you want to get paid until the end of September. Also, you have until February 6th, I want to say. And if these guys aren't in the office, you don't have a fucking job. Boom. Federal deficit getting lower, getting closer to our goal up here. And again, some people have indicated that this is a little bit optimistic and that Elon Musk even said that, and it's probably true right now. But I think this is just readying for the pace that Elon Musk, that's not even coming up. Whatever, show it next time. For the pace that Elon Musk is putting forth in regard to Doge and the Department of Government Efficiency, because they're going to be saving tons of money. And especially after February 6th, if a lot of these, if they get 5 to 10% of the people to quit, that's up to 200,000 jobs right there in government employees that will no longer have them. Not to mention all the people that are going against him and his orders and that are losing their jobs right now. This is meanwhile in San Francisco, drug dealers who only last week were allowed to freely operate on the sidewalk and in shop porches are now arrested. So this stuff is happening all over the place. The room erupted in applause immediately after JFK's confirmation hearing concluded. Listen to this.
And Mr. Kennedy, I look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're adjourned.
Actually, not the best mic. It sounded way better than that from where I was. Also, follow Jeffrey Mead real quick here. This is a little bit of a rant section, but we'll get there. We got 28 minutes until the market opens. Perfect example of why DEI needs to go away. I love this dude. He's a good follow. He deserves more. Listen to this.
We could have had a female president of color. Instead, we got someone who rolled back the Equal Employment Opportunity Act, which protects discrimination against women and people of color.
We didn't want her. And this video was a perfect example of why DEI is a problem. Really, go back and watch this and pay attention to what he led with. We could have had a woman of color as president. Or to be more accurate, he said a female president of color. Again, that's what he led with. He didn't say, hey, her policies were better. He didn't say, hey, we could have had somebody with much better policies and much better ideas. He said we could have had a female president of color, or whatever he said. Again, that right there is the problem. These people who are thinking about DEI in a lot of cases are leading with the color and gender. They're not.
Yep, 100% right. This is great. A murder live on CNN, guys. Hopefully YouTube doesn't get me for that. But listen to this. This is so great. I love everybody that Trump has in power right now. These people are amazing to listen to. Listen to this.
A question because one of the reasons that President Trump got elected, according to President Trump in an interview, I think it was with Kristen Welker of NBC, was because of grocery prices. Not the only reason, but a reason: high prices, inflation, especially at the grocery. The Department of Agriculture says that between 2020 and 2022, 42% of crop workers were undocumented immigrants. And in many cases, as you know, these migrants do jobs many Americans do not want to do. So how does President Trump make sure that the effort to deport people who are not in this country legally doesn't end up hurting Americans who want safe borders, absolutely, but also don't want to see even more higher prices in groceries?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not your position, Jake, you're just asking the question, that we should supply America's food with exploitative illegal alien labor. I obviously don't think that's what you're implying. Only 1%
That's
of
great
alien
start.
workers in the entire country work in agriculture. The top destination for illegal aliens
1%
are large cities like New York, like Los Angeles, and small industrial towns, of course, all across the heartland, as we've seen with the Biden flights. None of those illegal aliens are doing farm work. Those 30,000 illegal aliens that Joe Biden dumped into Springfield.
I'm talking about the ones that are.
But I'm explaining this. It's important to understand.
No, you're kind of changing the subject. I mean, I'm talking about the ones.
He's in no way changing the subject. This station is going to be gone.
Well, I will give me 30 minutes. I'll go as deep as you want on this.
We don't have 30
and your
minutes.
audience.
I don't have I'm talking about the ones that work in the agriculture industry.
I'm
you can come back and we can talk about the ones in the cities. I swear.
I'll do the whole answer. The illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into our country are not full stop doing farm work. They are not. The illegal aliens he brought in from Venezuela, from Haiti, from Nicaragua, they are not doing farm work. They're in our cities collecting welfare. As for the farmers, there is a guest worker program that President Trump supports. Over time as well, we will transition into automation, so we'll never have to have this conversation ever again. But there's no universe in which this nation is going to allow the previous president to flood our nation with millions and millions of illegal aliens who just get to stay here. And we are especially not going to allow a subset of those illegal aliens to rape and murder our citizens. So we are going to unapologetically enforce our immigration laws. And as I'm sure you will celebrate, we are going to unleash the power and might of the U.S. government to eradicate the presence of transnational threats on our soil.
So,
dude, this administration is going to be powerful. I hope people realize this. Governor Pritzker is allowing illegals to change their names to avoid ICE. Put her in jail. DEI, this is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind. DEI, LA Mayor Karen Bass is hiring an outside consultant group to rebuild the Pacific Palisades in a more equitable and environmentally sustainable way. She intends to award contracts without authorization from the people who fucking own the land and lost their homes. If you live in California, get the fuck out. Just get the fuck out. You need to leave. Manny247, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you, my friend. Always. Libs of TikTok, I love this. The former president of Kenya mocks countries who are upset that said he won't give that Trump won't give them the blank checks anymore to the foreign governments. Why are you crying? It's not your government. He has no reason to give you anything. You don't pay taxes in America. Love it. We'll skip RFK. That's a good thread, but this is another one. This is funny. We're just going to a funny real quick here, and then we're going to get back to business. I promise. Trying to fit in while liberal coworkers are talking about terrible things with Trump. I don't have this problem, but man, I would be this guy. This is great.
Oh, that's terrible.
You seem kind of psyched.
No, I'm bummed. But I wasn't bummed. I was stoked.
That would be me. I said, go get 'em, ICE. An army of people, some of which are illegal aliens, have filled the streets of Gainesville, Georgia to protest ICE and President Trump's mass deportations. They're waving Mexican flags and yelling, Viva la Mexico. Fucking go there, bitch. You're leaving Cali this summer, I am right? I don't blame you, dude. Justin says, but I can't get the fuck out. I'm stuck here. Sorry, man. It's just insane. When they start taking private land and awarding contracts, who the fuck is going to pay for this? And what is happening to these people's land? A lot of these people didn't even have insurance because of this crazy bitch in Gavin Newsom. So what's going to happen to these people? They still even today have issues just getting to their property. It's fucking insane. I don't understand how people can vote for that. But here's the deal. Trump ain't giving them federal funding to rebuild until we get voter laws that are real. So if you don't do voter ID, fuck you, Gavin Newsom. And then the people of California just realize that he wants to commit fraud more than he does rebuild the damage that he helped create. Next order. Elizabeth Warren is whining to reporters that JFK Jr. could bankrupt big pharma companies. This is insane.
His answers are he intends to continue to make money off his
Manny, thank you, dude. God, bro.
He says he won't go to work for drug companies
Manny's a
because
baller.
the American people have a right to know that the decisions made while he is Secretary of HHS are only for the good of the American people. And yet, he wants to keep a piece of the action on every one of these anti-vax lawsuits. And what that means potentially is as Secretary of HHS, he can make those lawsuits a whole lot more profitable. In fact, he may have the opportunity to bankrupt the vaccine.
You know, the irony here is that this bitch all the time talks about how big companies taking advantage of the little guy and how she's there to keep that from happening. And yet she gets millions of dollars from big pharma to defend them so that they can take advantage of the little guy and prevent us from getting healthier. Because her main thing is to get paid. She doesn't give a fuck about you. She didn't give a fuck about people's finances when she went after Bitcoin. She just got paid. So don't listen to people like this. I love this. This made my day yesterday. The Inspector General of the USDA just lost her fucking job and got physically removed from her office for defying Trump's dismissal order yesterday. Bye, bitch. Have fun in the private sector where nobody wants to hire you. Elon Musk said, exactly. And it says U.S. refugee group funding suspended under Trump aid pause. Nate said, this is arguably the single most important aspect of Trump's funding freeze. The emergency or the immigration crisis isn't an accident. It's a well-oiled system facilitated by powerful NGOs and funded by your tax dollars. We need to defund them, and we do that by turning them off. Then they go bankrupt. And again, we know Ukraine stopped receiving money. We know that European countries stopped receiving money. There's people complaining all around the world that they're not getting money right now. The money just comes from thin air. That's what happens. But yeah, so we're making progress, guys. There's a lot of good things happening. Real quickly, I want to jump over to Bitcoin. We've got Tesla reporting a $600 million mark-to-market gain on Bitcoin holdings, which again help their profit margins a lot in Q4, and that's going to be good for MicroStrategy. Just saying, if you think it's a Ponzi, you're gonna miss a lot of gains. This Bitcoin News said in 2025, Bitcoin ETFs have already accumulated 3x more than BTC than has been mined. What's going to happen when these state strategic Bitcoin reserves get passed? So again, what's been mined? ETF flows. This isn't even including MetaPlanet. This isn't including MicroStrategy. This isn't including all the other companies that are doing it. This isn't including the squash team in fucking Europe. I don't know. There's so much going on. We're running out. And here's how Bitcoin works. If this is your first cycle, I get it. You're impatient. If you're in miners, you're like been waiting almost a fucking year and they've just went nowhere. You've lost money for a year. Sucks, right? But the thing you need to realize about Bitcoin during these cycles is we're at the parabolic stage, and when it happens, it just happens. I can't tell you the exact day it's going to be. I can't tell you what news event's going to make it happen, but I can tell you that the flows, the amount of available Bitcoin is getting lower and lower. The amount on exchanges, the amount on OTC desks is getting lower and lower and lower. And as that happens, and you see demand increasing, and just from Saylor alone, he's picking up like a Billy every week, you're going to reach a critical mass where no amount of funny business playing around with markets will be able to hold back the wave. It's just how it works. It's how it works in virtually every market. The only thing that was really fixed was the gold market, and that's different reasons. It's very hard to account for gold. There is no public ledger. But good things are coming. Nayib Bukele said, this guy said we used to use Bitcoin for money laundering and corruption. This is like the Elizabeth Warren type, right? Senator Bob Menendez, who fought against El Salvador adopting Bitcoin, was just sentenced to 11 years in prison for taking bribes in gold and cash. And yet it's the Bitcoin you got to worry about for money laundering. And again, I showed my chart. We're looking really good right now. Tesla's up 4.6% in pre-market, guys. Bitcoin is still sitting around the 105, really close to that range, sitting above peak volumes, just like I represented in this image. And then we went over this earlier. Again, just the amount. And somebody said that, oh, you're not looking at all the OTC desks. I mean, we're looking at Coinbase, Genesis, Galaxy Digital, Cumberland. What's some other big names in here? Yeah, Genesis, Galaxy, Coinbase are probably some of the bigger OTC desks. If you got others that I should be looking at, let me know. And the Wolf of Wall Street said that the Norway Central Bank holds 500 million in MicroStrategy shares. And I'm just saying that I don't think it's a Ponzi. I think there's a lot of companies buying this for a reason. Just in $70 billion investment firm D.E. Shaw has bought a position in Bitcoin miner Riot Platforms. You're going to see more and more of this. Iron had this too. Mara's got a bunch of this. Just massive amounts of influx of capital from investment firms are going into miners and Bitcoin-related investments like MicroStrategy. I was just saying, hey, this is, again, just his work, so I wanted to represent it, and he's a good dude. We got another bill. We've got 15 states now that have strategic bills for Bitcoin reserves sitting in their hands that they're rolling through. There's just so much positivity, guys. Let's go over to MSTR. What are they waiting for? Institutions have record amounts invested in Bitcoin's miners currently. What are they waiting for? I don't know. People act like there's some thing or a person that's controlling it all. It's just not true. If you want to learn something, instead of watching Rex, I would listen to Ben Workman if you want to understand more about what's going on at MicroStrategy. And again, here's the chart I showed, just the visual of what's happening next. And here's another great write-up. So Jeff Park is probably one of the most brilliant. He's a Stanford alum. He has been in this, let's see, I don't want to bastardize his credentials. He's the head of Alpha Strategies for Bitwise Invest, Radical Portfolio Theory, CIO, Riverian, purveyor of exotic goods and esoteric services. He's worked with Morgan Stanley and Stanford. And he's brilliant. If you've listened to him, he's absolutely brilliant. So if you want to, you can listen to him talk about STRK, the new offering that gives you a 8% dividend if you invest at least $25,000. It's the minimum amount for retail to get involved in it. But he gives his thoughts on all of this, and Ben gave his thoughts in another post too, and they're both brilliant. These are some of the smartest people you'll ever see. There's probably other stuff in there too, but I think that's good enough for now. Again, we went through that strike offering in like another video just a couple of days ago. It's really great. Binance, Crap, and Bybit have OTC desks, and they're okay. So what are they at? What are they at? Give me the numbers. Give me the numbers on their OTC desk. You show me. I showed you mine. You show me yours. Okay? You guys do some of the work. All right. Let's get over here. Geopolitics. Before his brutal execution, my friend Salwan Momika issued this chilling statement. This is a person who routinely mocked Islam and burned Qurans. And he was executed yesterday in Sweden. Sweden has 61 no-go zones. They went after this guy instead of going after the Islamic radicals. And that's, I mean, they get murder and destruction and all this other stuff, right? We know, we saw the numbers from Italy where 8% of the people are immigrants that are not from the country, and yet they commit anywhere from 30 to 48% of the crimes, from murder to robbery to everything. So, again, when you invite people into your country and give them money and let them have free reign and don't prosecute them for crime, I don't know what you expect, especially when they have radical beliefs like we should overthrow you. I don't know what you would expect. I don't think that makes me a racist. And by the way, Islam is not a race. I don't know if people know that. It seems like a lot of people don't, but it's not actually a race, just so you know. Just handing that out there. Let's keep going. Just doing whatever the fuck I want today. Crypto Klepto, Van Eck acquired 570,803 shares of Mara in Q4, which is 51.61% increase. So while people have been panicking about miners and scared about miners, this isn't even to the beginning, or I'm sorry, right over here. Where's the beginning of the year? right over here. So you can see that they have they've went up probably 175% in their position and their allocation towards Mara. So, and this is like all of the institutional investors. They're buying everybody else's bags so that they can make a lot of money in this next leg higher. So you can either be a part of that or not. It's up to you. Again, Meta, Mark Zuckerberg just said he plans to spend hundreds of billions of dollars in AI infrastructure over the long term. So again, guys, if you believed all this DeepSeek bullshit, you're wrong and missing out. Side note for Meta, 48% operating margin, 2% in general administrative expenses while leading the pack of open source AI. Yeah, you're right. Their open source Llama is great. While Tesla leading in the real world, Meta is a winner and takes... Yeah. Meta is not even going to compare to Tesla in the not too distant future. Give it about a year and... Meta just won't be able to compete. Not that they won't do all right, but I think the benefit for humanity is much greater with Tesla on just numerous levels. And the financial benefits are going to be much greater on Tesla, too, just so you know. And I say this as somebody who bought Meta and was recommending that people buy options and leaps in it when it was $75 quite a while ago. Made $500,000 off of that one. James E. Thorne, DeepSeek, we need verification. Once again, so many jump to conclusions before doing any research at all. OpenAI says it has evidence that China's DeepSeek is used their model to train the competitor. And then there's leaks that occurred. We talked about all this stuff. Let's go down to Doge, and then we'll be done with this section, and then we'll get back to work. Terrible things are happening to those poor kids. Heartbreaking, says Data Republican. Make sure you follow this person. It shows that the taxpayers spent $2.566 billion on unaccompanied children. And we know they lost over 300,000, roughly. We don't know the exact figures. We know that evidently we've found about 80,000. We don't have all the details on that yet. But they spent $2.56 billion, our government, on unaccompanied children, and we don't even know where they go. And I posted videos a while ago showing how the government was taking these kids, putting them in vans, and shipping them off to other countries. For what? Pedophiles? What were they doing with them? Where were they taking them? Why were they taking them? And then they were in such a hurry that they left the bags for these kids sitting outside while this, reporter's trying to go after them and question them. I don't know what all happened here, but I think it's horrible things. Elon Musk says, checks out. Many federal civil service workers spend most of their time work days complaining about their jobs on Reddit. Interestingly, much of the activity violates federal law. And so you can look over here based upon the work day, how for Fed News, how the activity skyrockets and these guys bitch all day about their jobs and then they go home. It says Fed News is the largest subreddit for federal workers. Weekends and government holidays have been excluded from this data set. 74% of activity on Fed News occurs on weekdays. 2 out of every 3 posts on weekdays fall between standard government work days. And again, it's all negative shit. We're paying them to go to Reddit to bitch about the government and violate laws, probably in some cases. Fun. Department of Government Efficiency following up on the $45 million in DEI scholarships in Burma. This has been canceled. We're paying for DEI in Burma. U.S. radical left has been using taxpayer money to fund radical political parties and medias around the world. This is one of the largest Hungarian opposition media outlets is upset by Trump's executive order halting foreign aid for 90 days as Hungary's independent press stands to lose millions in funding. So these guys are pissed because they want to push an agenda that's contrary to Trump's with all the money we're sending them. And again, we know that from the poll I showed yesterday that 2/3 of America wants to see smaller government, and that's what Elon Musk is going to do. And we're already saving $350 billion a year. We'll get to $1 trillion, I think, in months for the pace. $1 trillion. All right, let's keep moving on here. I think we're done with a lot of that stuff. Let's look real quickly and see where we're sitting on so many other things. Oh, there's my Sol chart. How's Sol doing? A lot of altcoins doing well today, guys. Let's look real quick here. We'll look at kind of all the big things as far as metrics for markets and all that kind of stuff. Again, today is a big day. We got 5 minutes, a little over 5 minutes till open. We want to see markets do well. My friend Jake, who loves investing in China for some reason, still love him though. Don't understand it. He said that altcoins lead. I agree with that. So now that Fartcoin is back up, I think we're good. Anyway. Let's look at economic data, make sure we're not missing anything else. Yeah, we'll pull up NVIDIA. We'll get all of them, man. We'll do them all. And I'll start looking at chat more too. I think we have a little bit more in data potentially, and I want to see. Nope. Okay, so we have data at 9. So right at 9, we have pending home sales. Then we just have inventories, Fed balance sheet stuff, 30, 40, that other stuff that doesn't matter. So I'll stick around till 9 for the pending home sales. Yeah, let's look at other charts though. So real quickly, ARKG up 2% in pre-market. The 10 years continuing to roll over like I said it was going to because it's got massive bearish divergence that goes back years. MicroStrategy up 1.14% in pre-market. Don't know how quickly it bounces today, but the bounce is coming and it's going to be vigorous once it takes off. We'll just see if we have to glide here for a little bit longer. I think it's coming really quick, and hopefully today's the day. Let's look at other stuff. You guys want to look at, let's pull up Tesla on the big screen, and then we'll pull up NVIDIA and a bunch of others. So Tesla looks very similar on the big screen, right? It had its down moves. It's finding support over here. I probably need to draw this a little bit lower. Again, this chart is available to people that are on the Discord. And again, you can see where it keeps just bouncing. Bounced over here. Kept bouncing along here. Now it's up here. So again, and this is the 4 hour, but if we move to the daily... If you move to the daily, you can see how we're back above the 50 moving average, which is a good place to be. What I would like to see today is really getting above this first fib line around the 414 range. If we could pull that off and get up to that level, it really nullifies the potential of a rising like bear flag. So if we get up to here and we can, even if we get up to it, it's helpful, but it would be best to close above it in the 415s. That would be ideal. Let's look at NVIDIA. 1 second here. All right. So NVIDIA retraced yesterday. It's trying to find support. You can see right here. So it's down here. What we'd like to see with NVIDIA doesn't have to be grand. It would just be ideal if we're back above this green line to end the week. And let's look at the weekly, since we probably should look at some of the weekly. So we got a really big indecision candle here. I think, again, if we just end up over here for the week and it's green instead of red for this indecision candle, that will be more bullish. And then, and then next week, if we get back up to the 129 range, then, I mean, we're going to be closing that daily gap all the way up to the 138. I'm still bullish on NVIDIA. I don't think their earnings, and when are their earnings? Let's see real quick here. I don't remember off the top of my head. NVIDIA. Let's see. Earnings for NVIDIA, the 26th. Oh, so they're way out. Yeah, so I don't know what happens with NVIDIA over the meantime. All kinds of narratives that can occur. So we'll see. But we need to see them get up a little bit higher. Here's the good thing, though. If you look right here, this red horizontal line is peak volumes, and we're staying above it. And that's good. We want to stay above it. So at the very least, we want to stay above this volume line. Ideally, though, let's get up to the 125-ish range and above. That would be ideal. What else we want to look at, guys? Let's keep going. How's Trump doing? He's kicking ass. He's amazing. I can't think of any president in history that's done what he's done in such a short period of time. Tesla ripping. Yes, sir, it is. NVIDIA, Tesla, CleanSpark. Yeah, let's get to CleanSpark. Let's do that one. We'll just go through a bunch of them here. Let's do Palantir, too. Trump coin. Let's look at that. I haven't even looked at it today. Hopefully it's doing better. So Palantir could still be double topping, but I think there's a lot of strength here. So we got to get above 85 and turn it into support just to feel better about getting past the double top. I don't know what it's going to do, though. I really don't know with Palantir. I'm not buying. I'm not selling. I'm just holding. It seems unlikely that it's going to go too low, though. They're just too embedded with the government. We did look at MicroStrategy a couple times already. All right, let's go to CleanSpark real quick here. CleanSpark was up 2% yesterday. It's up 2% this morning. This is a massive level of support at the 200 moving average. I expect it to hold. I expect us to try and get back up to the 15 soon because I expect Bitcoin to do well as well. So if it doesn't do well, that's going to be problematic, but I do think it will be. Let's go to Trump. Iron and Wolf? Yeah, we can look at this. Give me a sec. All right, so this one broke down lower than I thought it was going to go, so we got to fix that. But there's some promising stuff that we're seeing now, and it didn't go much lower. But I'm not going to call it. I'm not going to call the bottom yet, just because again we're sitting right at peak volumes right now. There is something promising though. We do have higher lows, and so it has been testing down first, right? Like we can see very clearly. Oh, it's the bell time. Sorry, my bad. Let's get back over here. Boom, 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 boom. Let me go back.
I think you got
Nope. Let's get the bell.
pause, no news kind of presser from Fed Chair Powell. There wasn't a big immediate move. Some people thought that the
Ding, ding, ding.
statement looked a little
OpenAI
more
partners
hawkish
with
because
U.S.
they were moved
national
on
laboratories and
inflation
scientific
language
research,
saying
nuclear
that
weapons
it's
security.
starting to move toward target, but then
That
Fed
scares
Chair
the shit
Powell
out of me.
played that down
I don't think these guys should be
and we were just
partnering with
trying to
anything in the
clear
government, but
there.
whatever.
I think you got nothing from Fed Chair Powell about when the next cut is coming.
Yeah, no, we didn't get anything from them. Real quickly, before I look further into this. So today, we're at 27.46. Again, we need to ideally for this one, I'd like to get above 29 and turn it into support. We got lots of volume right here. We definitely want to close above that. But ideally, and the week is different for this too. The weekend's on Sunday. So it's different for this versus regular stocks, right? But ideally, we get above the 29s and turn that into support. If we do that, then there's a really good chance that we race back up here to the 39.40 range. Really right over here, we start to hit volumes right around 36, 37. That would be a nice place to be. That would put me pretty good in the money. So I would like that. Let's look at the broader market, though, real quick on the watch list. And share this, or just short it out. I can't even say words. Sort it. So again, altcoins leading. Say, Injective, Render, Tesla. Tesla's up 5.57%, guys. Shit. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It could gap down, though. I mean, it's got to gap down to 400, guys. Wouldn't surprise me if maybe we tested down into the morning and then close that gap around the 400 range. So that might be a good time to buy if you're looking for leaps. If you're looking for leaps in Tesla, that's the time I'd pick them up. Because I think we lose some of the gains, and then we'll probably test higher again. It's usually the way it works. Sol, Atom, again, just shitcoins galore in the top winners today. MSTX up 4%. That's nice. More shitcoins. Bitcoin miner Riot, ASML, CleanSpark up 3.61. MSTU up. Iron up 3.91%. Looks like it's a good day for Bitcoin-related stuff. AMD is up today, 2.22. Yeah, let's look at the AMD chart. So a lot of good stuff. Hood's up. PayPal's up. Let's see how many losers we have today. Microsoft is down 5.45%. They didn't do well. Dow Jones Transportation's down. Flux is down again. Nvidia is down 0.31%. Oil's down. Oil's been dropping. Let's look at that real quick. Let's look at the dollar. Let's look at oil. Again, we can see the bond market rolling over. I called this one to perfection. So since this thing kind of peaked out over here, we're down over 10% in the price of oil when we hit this 200 moving average on the weekly time frame. And again, this previous resistance that goes back, I mean, to what? 2022? So this is a strong resistance. Drill baby drill is in play. And we're seeing oil prices drop, and that's going to help with inflation, right? It's a base cost for everything. Is the price of oil. Again, it leads into gasoline and all this other stuff, and that ties into all of the vast majority of transportation right now, since we're not all electric. So, and then there's all these other utilities for it. So this coming down is a really big deal. It's one of the reasons why. Trump is working so hard to get it down. Let's look at the dollar. The dollar today is weakened again. This is great. We want to see it drop underneath of this. because if it ends up doing that, and I'll show you what this looks like. So this looks like now, and I could just draw it right now. It looks like a rising broadening wedge, which is exactly what you want to see. Again, it's down here, and you could even draw it like this, right? But either way, it's bad. And I probably will actually draw it like this. I'll probably just draw it flat like this. But either way, it's bad, and there's a chance that we're going to try and break down and test lower. I'm actually going to turn this to green because technically it is going to be support going forward, not resistance. So it'll be a level we want to watch out from the other end of the spectrum. But that's essentially what we're looking at. And you know what? Let's just get rid of this one completely because really this is the one telling the tale. It's just kind of redundant to have the other one. So that's a good sign for the dollar. And if this does break, if we have oil coming down, if we have the dollar coming down, if we have the market still looking good because employment levels are good, just like in the data that we saw today, if GDP price index was up 2.3%, but that's not really a big number. But then again, sales growth is even better than that. And we're just seeing things that are looking really strong. I think markets are going up. That's my take. Let's look at Hood. Somebody asked for Hood. Coins popping? Sweet. Checkpoint Software crushed earnings 7%. There's so many companies crush earnings. Yeah, Hood is looking good too, up 2% on the day. A new 52-week high for sure on Hood. Beautiful looking chart. Let me just look here. 2.6% on SoFi. Nvidia's down 1%. PayPal's up 1.5%. Everything's looking pretty strong today and looks like it's turning around and doing even better. ARKG, guys, I just want to look at this real quick. Look at this setup, guys. Look at this setup. If we close the week right here, it's very bullish. Very bullish for ARKG. Again, this is a multi-year downtrend line that we're getting ready to break above. I can't speak to how bullish that is. I mean, I kind of can. It's going to be very easy to get to 28. And then again, next hurdle is kind of getting over here. Let me just dial this out a little bit so we can see it better. Next hurdle, so once we get up to 20, like 28 will be a barrier right around here. And then once we get above that, it's really to the 30 range. And then it's to 35. And then here's the thing. Once we get to 31.81, so really 32 is probably a better number. Once we get to 32 and turn that into support, it's game on to 35. And then it's game on to testing up here to the 200 moving average at 40. And then up here to 50. This thing will just start to launch. It'll start to find support, and then it'll launch. And that could take a few months. Maybe a quarter or two, but it'll do really well. Kumar, good morning, Jesse. Was very excited about you posting about Tesla's price target of $600 and $1,000 next year. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. I don't know if I covered that, but yeah. I think with Tesla, I think that the next target is really 600, and I think that happens by maybe the middle of this year, beginning of Q3. And then I think that we could see 900 to 1,000 by early 2026. I think that's very true. Breaking Cash Patel has arrived for his confirmation hearing for the FBI director. That'll be fun. RFK Jr. is a legend. Yes, he is. 2030 and then fully out by 40. Out of what? ARKG or which one? Oh, CleanSpark. Yeah. No, that's right. Do you think we'll see resistance for Wolf around 550? I don't know. I don't know enough about the fundamentals of Wolf to really speak to it well. I could look at technicals, but it's probably not going to give you the best view of what you need. I don't know anything about Hymax. I can't speak to it. The American Adventure, they slandered the shit out of RFK and hilariously enough only made people like him more. Yeah, I agree. And that's why it's our duty on social media to spread the truth. When they do that shit, we need to get out there and spread the truth. Now it's Cash and Tulsi time. Yeah, and we still need the approval of Robert F. Kennedy. What do you buy here, Jesse? What do you buy here? Today? I don't know. I like to buy on down days. I don't know. Palantir is still highly valued, but I think it's a company that, I don't know, it could be irrational for long periods of time. CleanSpark's already up 4.87% today, so I don't know if that's going to be a good one to buy. I do think that we're going to start seeing miners hold on to those gains at the end of the day. I don't know if today's the day, but I do think that pattern is going to start. I mean, maybe NVIDIA, but it's just not an asymmetric bet. I don't know. I've already done all my buying, so I don't really know what to say. I mean, if let's put it this way. Oh, Tesla. Buy Tesla. Buy Tesla. Buy Tesla. It's closing the gap right now. Buy Tesla. If you're going to buy anything, buy Tesla, guys. It's closed. It literally closed the gap right now. Like I said, it needed to drop to 400 and close the gap. If you're buying anything, buy Tesla. What about SMCI? I don't know. There's so many speculative things about SMCI. I own it. But now that we've dropped under 400 for Tesla, that's a hard buy to me. Again, I was hoping that this thing would be inverse head and shoulders. It ain't doing that. This is just like my nuts hanging way too low on the right. Look at that. That's my problem right there. It's illustrated in a beautiful chart. So I don't know that that's good. Certainly isn't for me. But yeah, so I don't know. These guys, they need to have good reporting and they need to be auditable. And if that happens, this thing's gonna fucking moon. But if that doesn't happen, I don't know what to tell you. Lefty loose. You guys are great. I love you guys. But yeah, so it definitely not that. Did you sell your 2,100 shares of what? SMCI? I don't think so. If I did, I posted it. No, right here. It's down 22%, but I didn't sell it. And again, it looks like Tesla, I don't know what the calls are doing today. I should actually refresh this probably because I don't know if it's really reporting anything yet. Wu Tu Lo Sum Ting Wong. Pan Margo. Fuckers. I love you guys. Clean Spark over 5% today. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Nvidia down. That's really the only thing. SoFi, SMCI, PayPal. I don't know. I think a lot of things are going to go up heading into the end of the week. DLO ain't one of them. ARKG is down today. Huh, that's interesting. I would buy ARKG calls. Well, I don't know if these are actually down because, again, my site doesn't update well with it, so maybe they're already up. But if those were down on the day, I would definitely buy some of those if I didn't own, I don't know, like 380,000 worth. End of the year target for Iron. End of the year is a really hard thing to say. I can't give you an end of the year. I can tell you what we might hit before the end of the year, but it doesn't mean it'll be there at the end of the year because the timing is the hardest part. And the end of the cycle usually occurs between like October to December. There was a time where in 2017, the cycle actually for the altcoins didn't end until January, but they usually end first now. Oh, the calls are up 14%. Don't buy the calls. Don't buy the calls. Iron, yeah, this is such a strong looking stock. And again, since we know they don't hold Bitcoin, and I hate that. But since they're an HPC play, they're my only HPC play and a Bitcoin play. I think they have room to run. And I don't know where they get ultimately. I do think that there's the potential of this thing going to 40. That's kind of what I'm looking at for a target. Is right up here. I'm sorry, this one even says 50. It's a 40-point jump from where it is right now. It's actually more than that. Let's go down here. Let me get the right numbers here. Update this chart while I'm here. And then save it for the Discord members. Yeah, so 113% to 391 is kind of my target for this one. And at a $2 billion valuation, I don't think it's crazy to think it can go up by 400%. Palantir reports February 3rd. That'll be cool. I'll probably watch Amit. What's your ARKG call? I mean, I love ARKG. I think ARKG can just go infinitely higher than it is today. Its market cap, guys, I don't even know what it was. I'd have to look. I don't know if I can see it. Let's see. ARKG market cap over time. Let's see if I can find it. You can't always, there's one macro trends. There we go. This one will probably actually let me see it. Oh, okay. What's going on? Verification successful. What's happening? What? Okay. I am a human, but what are you doing? Okay, we'll just assume that's not working. So I'll look up what the market cap was, but right now they have 1.2 billion in AUM. We're at a breakout zone. Like this is the first real breakout that we're seeing, guys, because you could see last week where we touched it but couldn't get above it. And there's only 1.2 billion in this fund, and yet there's a bunch of different genomic companies in here. And this is Kathy Wood's favorite thing right now for 2025, because I think the speculation could send it to 10 billion in AUM. Again, there's dozens and dozens of companies in here, and they don't have to do really well. People just have to be more excited about them, because a lot of them are doing okay. They just don't have marketable products yet. But what they're doing is amazing and has huge potential. So CleanSpark calls, I don't know, man. They got to move. CleanSpark calls have to move. It's one of the reasons why I started buying stock instead of calls, just to diversify my risk, right? And I've been saying that as I was doing it. I bought 6,000 shares, $65,000 in that. I've only got 204,000 in calls. I think between the other one, I might have a little bit more, but they've been butchered, and rightfully so. They're going to get butchered, and they're underperforming. I don't know. Maybe right now they're doing better. Again, my site doesn't update really well. But wow, gold is running hard. So Bitcoin's doing good too. There's a lot of people that are looking to apply capital, probably out of the bond markets into, oh shit, I'm really worried, we should get into gold and Bitcoin, or I'm not worried and I think things are going to do really well and I should invest in my favorite things. I think it's going to lean more to risk on. The American Adventurer says, wow, ECB press, BTC won't enter reserves in EU. So stupid. Europe just can't do anything right lately. No, sadly they can't. Gemini Knight, could miners surpass their 2021 highs? Or would you say because of dilution that's unlikely? No, I think they totally could. Even if you factor in dilution, now that they have FASB accounting rules, and if Bitcoin goes to like 125, 150, if Bitcoin goes up to 180, you'll start to see that the financials look a lot better, and you'll see analysts who aren't really paying attention raising price targets a lot. So, but I would like to think that these are going to do well, but we have until July 18th at 37. So we need miners to start running now. Like pretty quick, right? Like by end of February, they got to start running, right? But I do think I'm going to make money out of those and close out of them. And I think over that time, I think at the very least, you could get 146% gain on CleanSpark. And I think that can 3X. It depends on what your entry is and a lot of other stuff. But I think I will at least 3X my money on those, maybe 4X my money on those. And so I could get to $1 million and then maybe 800,000 in calls. And so if I get to 800,000 in calls, I'll probably just dump them and convert to stock just to be safe, because I don't want to push my luck. You guys know I like time. July is just not a lot of time to me. And I don't want to take something that could be $1 million in Bitcoin mining calls and then lose it because I don't give myself enough time for it to play out. So I think even honestly with the calls, if they get up to like 22 or 24, something like that, where they're up 140-ish%, I'm probably out of them. I'm probably out of calls completely and just in the stock. And then I'll ride the stock up even higher. I'll ride the stock up to the 40 range maybe. We'll see. I might start just getting into IBIT with some of this stuff too and dialing back some of the risk, because I've already got shitcoins. I got MicroStrategy. I've got tons of different Bitcoin miners. So I'll start pulling some of that back. Mike Alfred called beginning a parabolic phase for miners today. I think he's probably right. Everything feels really good right now. It feels really good. And 6.5% on CleanSpark. So if we get a few more days like this, the calls will start to catch up because people will get excited and they'll be like, oh, the calls are undervalued. Calls usually, after just really painful periods, the calls lag. So you have time to enter them usually. So you never want to be too early on calls. I'm guilty of that a lot, but you never want to be. Steven said, so now that you've had your new Mac for a few days, did it solve your problem? Not completely, unfortunately. I still have some memory leak, evidently. So it just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing, but it buys me a lot of time. So like right now, I'm already at 82 gig. And it goes to 128. So I need to find a browser that will limit the amount of memory getting sucked up, because it's consuming gigs and gigs and gigs, and it's Chrome. It's really Chrome that's doing it. I know some people said that Opera, you can actually limit the amount of memory that you're getting pulled from in your browsers. So I might try that one. If anybody has a really great browser that doesn't have a lot of memory leak issues, please let me know. Jesse, closing Chrome tabs you're not using will help. I use all of them. But yeah, I get that. No, I don't think DuckDuckGo can. I might play with Brave, but Brave's just kind of a bastardized version of Chrome. But again, somebody said that you can limit the amount. So I might try Brave next. But somebody said with Chrome, you can, or not Chrome, Opera, you can limit. And I might even just try Safari too. I haven't tried Safari in years. But that you can limit the amount of memory that it's able to consume. So I could like cap it at like 75 or 80. That would probably be cool. So I'm still having problems. Has a hard RAM limiter. Yeah, Danny. So I might do that. That might make more sense. Check out Snapchart, please. Arc is low memory and based on Chromium. It's really great productivity browser. Okay, I'll keep that in mind too. I'm going to try just a bunch of them to see if I can eliminate my problems. Because if I can look at like Brave and see that it's utilizing half the memory, but it's able to accomplish everything, and it's got like the ad blocker stuff built into it, then I'll just switch back to Brave. I used to have video issues with it, video quality issues, but I don't know what that looks like now. Matthew Purdy, Jesse, today Grayscale launched an ETF offering investors. Yeah, I know. Yeah, MNRS is like a diversified ETF for miners. Netscape Navigator, AdGuard all the way. You guys are super helpful. Safari plus Chrome plus a third-party browser open the heaviest applications each on 3 browsers. Safari, why court problems? Why court problems? Is Safari a problem? Is that what you're trying to say, Silas? I'm trying to find solutions. CleanSpark, up almost 7%, guys. The miners seem to be having a pretty good day today. Let's just look here. What's your square monitor called? Oh, I don't have a square monitor. I've got like a 50-inch OLED or something in front of me, 46 or 50, and then I got like another 40-something in front of me on top of that. And then I've got 32-inch LG OLEDs flipped sideways. So USB or use tab suspension management software. Ooh, tab suspension management software. I don't know what that is, but I'll look it up. Is there a particular one? I think the miners are front running, and it's always nice. The Great Suspender. The Great Suspender. Okay. I'll check it out, bro. The Great Suspender. I love the name, if nothing else. The Great Suspender, Chrome Web Store. Make your computer run smoothly by suspending the tabs you aren't using. See, I think that Chrome's supposed to do that, and I actually implemented settings to be able to get it to where it does that, but I think there's memory leaks that are causing problems. But somebody said on Reddit, I was just notified that Great Suspender is malware. I'll do some research. Yeah. Safari does it automatically. Okay. What are 3 books that I can recommend? I probably need to write up a book thing. The first one I like to recommend to people is the Bitcoin Standard, because I think you need to understand what money has been over time and what store of values have been over time. So I always recommend starting with that. There's other great ones like Capital Wars from Michael Howell, but honestly, even just listening to him on a daily basis is a really good idea. And then there's Lynn Alden's Unbroken Money. I really think it's important to understand money. There's a lot of really good ones, though, like Bitcoin related, like The Price of Tomorrow, where they let you know about how technological advancements create deflation and how Bitcoin is an amazing tool that's going to help society in the future. Elon's autobiography I really love. I am actually excited about Alex Karp's upcoming book. I don't know the exact day it gets released, but I've got it on pre-order, and I'm going to get it on Audible, too, because it's like one of the only ways I can stand to listen to stuff. TGS is awesome. It will fix your problem. Okay. All right. So I got a lot to do. I'm probably, guys, I might even, let's see, what else are we waiting for here? We're waiting on pending home sales. I don't even think that fucking matters. So the ECB has got a press conference. I don't even care what they have to say. I'm probably going to call it here, guys, because I got to get ready. I got to take a shower, clean up my junk so that people can examine it. And then I've got to do that while my wife is getting her thing done, which is fun. And then she's going to come out of that, and I got to make sure that, take her home and get her some food since she hasn't been able to eat for 24 hours. Have I read The Renaissance of Stock Trader? No. Is it good? Is it relevant? Is it recent or is it old? Look up Jordy Visser. Understand what's coming in terms of technology and deflation. Huh. I might have to ask you guys for some books. Thanks for today, Jesse. Have fun swinging your balls around. I will, sir. I will have fun swinging my balls around. Thank you guys all for coming and for, again, whatever, the 1,200-ish people that routinely come back to this group. I appreciate you guys on X. If you could make sure to like and respond and comment. Just a quick comment, even if it's stupid, is a 12.5X underneath the video on X. And so it's greatly appreciated if you guys do that. I'll just highlight it here. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day, and we'll do this again. Not tomorrow, Monday. See you guys. Peace out. Just got to find the button. Close down.